Black White Soul. This is my review of Raw. That aired on the 28th of April. I'll be honest, this is a really good Raw. It starts with a recap of the main event from last Monday, which is the handicap match of the Wyatt family versus John Cena. And they just show the brutal results of that. And then John Cena starts us off. Comes down the ramp, a cage is around the ring, Cena gets in it, and he's not looking his usual, like, cheerful self. He's looking quite somber, quite sort of depressed even. And the only thing he says is, "Why?" And then the crowd just like, "Oh," and then, "Why? Like, why did you do this to me? Why would you? All I do is try and entertain you," and it's all along those lines of just like how he sort of helps the people. 10 years ago he got drafted to Raw, and that was the loudest pop he has ever received. The people liked him, the people loved him, and they were really, really intense and hot, but now the people are just brainwashed. Bray is just this evil force that is gonna take over all of their minds, and if John Cena lets himself get beat in that match with Bray, his message is going to get out, and it's going to get into all of the WWE Universe, and he can't let this happen. Frankly, this is a really, really good promo. John Cena, when he does a serious promo, is really, really good. He is so underrated because of the whole "it's fun to boo Cena." People forget just how good he is. And this is just one of his best in absolutely ages. So it has good emotion to it, good story all around it, and he gets the point across. But as he does this, the lights go out, the usual bop, and then we get a very, very, very creepy sounding child singing, "He's got the whole world in his hands." More and more children sound like they're singing, and this is creepy as hell. And then eventually the lights come back on, and then all you see is loads of children singing "He's got the whole world in his hands" on the entrance ramp. And Cena is just like in shock at this, and just he can't believe what is going on. Then we get a really early commercial break, which is annoying. And then after the break, the children have surrounded the ring. Bray is sitting there with another child in a sheet mask on his lap. All the children around the ring also have sheet masks on. This is terrifyingly creepy to look at. Bray's sitting there with this child, and he gets his microphone, and he just laughs at John Cena. Oh, this is just such a good visual. He laughs, and then again, it cuts to commercial break. Like, what the hell? 2 commercial breaks in like 5 minutes, if that. And because of this laughing, John Cena just looks absolutely devastated. He is just in the ring and is just beside himself, holding his head. He just can't believe what's happened. Then after this last commercial break, we then get shown what we missed, which was when all the children are on the entrance ramp. Bray Wyatt comes out, and then guides them all, and then sings some more verses of "He's got the whole world in his hand," walking with all the children that now got the sheet mask on, and guides them down to the ring. This makes a lot more sense. I wish we had seen this live, but no, it has to be shown because, oh, this is what you missed in a commercial break. But it's a really creepy image, him walking with the children. And then also adding in the extra verse of the song, "He's got the whole C Nation in his hand. He's got the whole C Nation in his hand." Really good. I can't wait to see this match just because of the atmosphere around it. If we get a really good wrestling crowd at the pay-per-view, that's going to be so good seeing a whole arena singing this song. Then we go to the announcers, and they're just talking about how just disgusting this is, and just like if Bray's message gets out of the cage and into the world, it's just going to take them over. and this is really like sad and somber, and then all of a sudden they're just like, and now to the ring for our tag team title match. Just out of nowhere, there it is. A really odd transition for them. I think they should have just not had them say it, just have the usual sort of like, and now a tag team from an actual live announcer, not the commentary booth. Bit odd. But this does mean next we have the Usos versus Ryback. I really thought this match was going to be on a pay-per-view. You know, your important tag team titles. Meant to mean something. It's going to throw away this, like, feud's payoff on a Raw. It's fine. Ryback and Curtis Axel are doing much better as a team, and they're actually getting a bit more fluid as it. I think this tag team is really helping out the two characters. Back and forth match. At one point the Usos clear the ring and do a double planche to the outside. One of them lands awkwardly and he's sort of selling his leg. Medical staff go and tend to him, so that leaves one of the Usos getting double teamed by Ryback. As it looks like all hope is lost, the Uso on the outside gets back up, gets on the apron, and he's ready for the tag. Gets on the top rope, dives in, gets his tag. Gets a nice little hope spot. I was worried when they had an injury angle. I thought that might be an excuse to drop the titles off the Usos, which would be a bad move. Another moment when I thought it was over was Ryback had the shell shock on. He looked like he was literally about to hit the shell shock. But the Uso managed to slide down his back and then roll it up. I was quite impressed. Not many people have, I don't think barely anyone has countered the shell shock yet. And I don't think anyone's going to kick out of it for a while. It's still a powerful move, still seen that way. Oh, the ending to this match was so good. There's lots of little intricate things there. So the Uso getting double teamed in the corner. Curtis Axel gets tagged in. They double team him, whip him off into the side. His brother manages to tag him really subtly. As he comes back off the ropes, he manages to kick Ryback in the face. Curtis Axel, the legal man, grabs him, hits the perfect plex, but because he managed to tag his brother when he was being whipped off, he's already climbed on the top rope and hits the splash on Curtis Axel while he's got the bridged in perfect plex. Such a good spot and a good win for the Usos, making them strong. But my big worry is, what next? The only other tag team I know of is 3MB that they can face, unless they are going to go against Evolution, which I can't see happening. So please, WWE, you've got to bring up some tag teams. The Ascension had a match on NXT against the Usos and they did quite well, so possibly they could be coming up. They're quite a big, brutal tag team heels. So we'll see what happens in the coming weeks. After this match, we get a little mention of Hugh Jackman, who's going to be on the show later on. They, of course, are like, it's Hugh Jackman, it's Wolverine! And then they sort of go into what happened last time, where Dolph Ziggler got punched in the face by him, and him and Hugh Jackman sort of patched up their differences on Twitter, but then Damien Sandow got involved and started insulting them both. This is a segment we'll see later on. And then we get a quick little backstage bit with Paul Heyman and Cesaro, and Paul Heyman is like telling him he's disappointed in RVD, the original Paul Heyman guy, for not trusting him. And tells Cesaro that basically everything that RVD said is true. He is deceitful, he is untrustworthy and all that. But the one thing he can do is he can take someone straight to the top, and Cesaro is, that's all I need to hear. Shake hands. And then we get a recap of the Kane beatdown on Daniel Bryan from last week. Quite an intense little promo, a video package they put together here, which is the same as the one they aired on SmackDown, but it's still quite a powerful video package. And then we get a backstage shot of just a camera panning across, and you see Kane's mask in a glass container. And this is going to be a little theme for the evening. Fella! We get Sheamus on the entrance ramp, and almost in a response to a lot of the smart marks on the internet, Titus O'Neil attacks him from behind. This is a really good little segment for Titus, because God knows he needs some help right now. He's floundering. And this made him look like a vicious monster. He's just beating down Sheamus all the way to the ring, beating him up on the outside, throwing him in the ring. He's in complete and utter control. And it's just showing how big and powerful this dude is, because Sheamus, they very rarely let him get beaten up like this. And it's very rare a guy is sort of as big or bigger than Sheamus is. And Titus O'Neil is just showing he's a monster. But then out of nowhere, bro kick, boom. And then Titus O'Neil is down for the pin. It would be a bit silly for him to go over him straight away. I hope this makes a little feud happen, and then we can really get our teeth into Titus O'Neil and see what he can do as a big-time heel. Then after that, we get the Hugh Jackman spot. Basically, Ziggler's in the ring, he's G'ing up the crowd. I really was hoping this was going to be a match, but this segment was actually hilarious. And Ziggler's just amping up. He loves this time of the year because the weather gets a bit warmer and women's bikinis get a little bit tighter. So I don't know if he's implying that women put on weight this time of year. Don't know. But also the big blockbusters are out, and X-Men Days of Future Past will be out. Personally, I am excited to see this film, and I will be seeing it in the next couple of days or so. But yeah, and then he calls out Hugh Jackman. Hugh Jackman comes down, and Jackman's doing all your generic celebrity. Oh, it's great to be here. You're a wild bunch, all that. Good little back and forth. They talk about Dolph getting knocked out by Hugh Jackman, and that punch does look legit. That is a brutal looking punch, and like the sound you get from it as well. Ziggler manages to drop in a little reference to Zack Ryder there, because, you know, last time he got woo-woo-wooed, you know it. Because, of course, Zack Ryder is nowhere to be seen, and probably never ever will be. And they're buddies, so he likes to drop in a little hint to him, because they don't even mention the fact that Hugh Jackman punched him last time was because Hugh Jackman was managing Zack Ryder, and gave Zack Ryder a win. Bloody hell. Miracle, but yeah, that's pretty much his last win ever. And then I've complained about what they're doing with Damien Sandow. This is not exactly the gimmick that's going to get him to superstardom, but at least it's time. WWE likes to test their talent by making them have a stupid gimmick or just do something absolutely ridiculous. And Damien Sandow just runs with this ball. You hear some random evil music play, and Damien Sandow comes out in the worst Magneto cosplay of all time. He looks ridiculous. Basically, it's like a hoodie in the shape of Magneto's costume, but he's also got a lovely long purple cape. It's ridiculous, but I just love this so much. Gets on the microphone. I am Magneto! Silence! He likes to just use his silence a lot tonight, and here's Magneto, and it's just the most ridiculous thing ever. And then he's just wondering why Dolph Ziggler in the ring is shaking because he's just awestruck with Hugh Jackman, while everyone else in the arena is shaking because they are terrified of Magneto. Hugh Jackman's a bit taken aback by this, and actually throws a microphone at Damien Sandow. I think he's getting a little bit carried away here. I don't know if that was meant to happen, because then a couple of seconds later he's picked up a microphone again, because Damien Sandow is going to show why he is the master of magnetism. And they play the sound effect for, like, magnet power happening. And then Hugh Jackman's got his microphone, and it starts getting pulled towards Damien Sandow. He can't resist. It's stupid, but I loved it. It was so ridiculous. It was funny. I do like these good old little vignettes. And as a celebrity in a section that was actually entertaining. Usually they just come out, go, yay, let's get the crowd G'd up, and then leave. This was actually a funny little segment. As the microphone's getting pulled towards Damien, he then shows that it's not being pulled by magnetism, shockingly. But then, shockingly, he hits a really nice hip toss on Damien Sandow. And then Ziggler manages to capitalize with a zigzag. Then he powders out, then we get the celebrating together. Ziggler takes the opportunity to remove his shirts and posing for the crowd. Fun little segment. Best use of a celebrity they've done in ages. After this, we get a little video of Evolution again, just showing what they've done in the past few weeks. And then we get Jack Swagger versus Cesaro. Before Cesaro comes out, Paul Heyman gives a little introduction and tells a little joke, because you know he's a funny guy, his kids like him, they find him as a funny man, so he's going to tell a joke. Knock knock. Who's there? My who? My client Brock Lesnar defeated the Streak. Stupid, but it really annoyed the crowd and got some heat on him. And then it's like, fine, we won't talk about this again. But then my client, Antonio Cesaro, won the Battle Royale. This is like, I like he's getting more towards Antonio. Well, sorry, Cesaro now. He doesn't like to be called Antonio Cesaro, it's just Cesaro. And then they bring out Cesaro with the goddamn most awful music imaginable. See, my cat Moral is licking her genitalia in disgust at this music. It is just really the worst job of music you could even think of. But all in all, they have a good little match together. There's a nice spot where Swagger's about to go for his lift into a slam, but Cesaro manages to roll over his back, but then keep his arms hooked around Swagger and get him into his gut-wrench suplexes on the ground. Nice little spot, and just shows Cesaro's ridiculous strength for how he looks. Then we get Zep Coulter gets in the match. Little distraction, gives Swagger the advantage. But then Paul Heyman comes round and tries ripping Zep Coulter's moustache off his head. Jack Swagger's distracted by this. Antonio did it again. Cesaro hits a lovely German bridging suplex and gets the pin. So we are victorious. And I don't know where this feud's going to go. It seems like it's going to continue, but it gets a bit more confusing later on. And then it shows just another little clip of what happened earlier with John Cena and Bray Wyatt, and emphasises I've got the whole C Nation in his hand. And Renee Young comes up to John Cena, asks him for an interview, and he's just looking heartbroken and just walks off. And then we pan back again to the back where we see Kane's mask and the camera's just still wobbling back and forth. Then we sort of get a random match. They can figure out what to do with people. Cody Rhodes versus Alberto Del Rio. It's a fairly good match. I just really don't like Del Rio. I find him so boring. And he gets a clean win over Cody Rhodes. And for some reason after this, Cody is pissed off at Goldust. It's not the strongest reason they've had for like making partners angry at each other, because I just lost a singles match to someone, so I'm really angry at you. It's not like he asked him to interfere. They're faces, so he shouldn't interfere. So again, they just sort of seem to be clutching at straws here and just trying to figure out a way to get Alberto on the show, which I'd be quite happy to have a show without him. Then a random backstage bit, you got Paul Heyman talking to Cesaro, and that's it. You can't even hear what they're saying, you just see them talking, the announcers say, oh, there's Heyman and Cesaro, and then we're on to the next bit. And the next bit is Lana comes out, brings out Alexander Rufez, oh, I hate that name. Comes down to the ring, and he's going to take on Xavier Woods, because this went really well for Xavier last time. Just completely dominates him. He's told to crush him, and as he locks in the camel clutch, R-Truth slaps him in the face. And they actually get the advantage. Xavier Woods and R-Truth together manage to get Alexander out the ring, and then as he tries coming back in the ring, R-Truth whips Xavier, who then bounces back, whips R-Truth, launches him into a nasty looking heel kick to Alexander's face. Of course, he stays up on his feet, but he's knocked off the apron, but still looking strong, and we'll see. On the pay-per-view, he has to beat these two, obviously. But we'll see if it's more of a competitive match, or if he is just going to crush these two on the pay-per-view. And if he does, that means R-Truth, his star is, yeah, somewhere down there. Then they get a nice little segment of the reason that John Cena can never be a heel. Because he's just gone over the 400 Make-A-Wish mark. It's mine. Yeah, John Cena has granted over 400 Make-A-Wish requests. That is an astonishing amount. And it is one of the nicest things you can do as a celebrity. He's done this more than any other celebrity. And it's not... Some people give him negative... How can you give him negative points for this? He's not doing it just for the fame. He is doing it because it is a legitimately good thing. And then some of those kids have got free tickets and they show them in the crowd looking excited. This is why Cena can never, ever, ever, ever be a heel right now. Because these kids love him and it means so much to them. And then we get another backstage. Then we're backstage with Rob Van Dam and Renee Young. She's just talking to RVD. RVD's doing his usual shtick, and then Zeb Coulter turns up. And it's like, we've got a common enemy. We could team up together. And it's like, no. I'm RVD, and I kind of do my own thing. That's how this works. Zeb's looking a bit annoyed at this, and RVD walks off. And then we get our second absolutely pointless backstage where you've got Zeb Coulter talking to Jack Swagger. And again, it's like 5 seconds long. It's like, oh, there's Zeb and Swagger, and cut away. No idea. Then we hear about the match that is going to kick off Extreme Rules. The pre-show match of a WeLC. I have no idea what this even means. First of all, a Wii is not a thing or an object, but I assume it's going to be like miniature tables and miniature ladders and miniature chairs? Or either that, or they're just using the gimmick name to then just mean two midgets are going to fight. No clue, but I actually kind of want to see it. It should be interesting. We'll see what Hornswoggle can do. I think him and El Torito had a good match on SmackDown. If anything, it should be good for a laugh. And then after they talk about that segment, we get the Three-Man Band! And the leader is back in the ring. Heath Slater and Drew McIntyre versus El Matadors. This is just a quick match, because a little bit into it, Jinder Mahal is trying to hold back Hornswoggle, who's trying to go for El Torito. And as Jinder Mahal is pulling Hornswoggle away, El Torito headbutts him in the bum, and that makes Hornswoggle's head go into Jinder Mahal's testicles. So of course he's down and out. And then Jinder gets angry at this, grabs El Torito, but then gets drop kicked in the head. But this means Heath Slater is there for when the El Matador turns around and he hits a beautiful execution. Edge's DDT from years and years ago, but it's a good finisher. And as the commentators themselves said, oh my god, Heath Slater has a win. This is like his first win ever. I'm just absolutely shocked at this turn of events. I'm glad he gets a little bit of a boost there. And the commentators also point out is they've completely forgotten about Jinder, who's knocked out on the outside. Drew and Heath are celebrating together with Hornswoggle. They're celebrating the fact they actually have a win. At this point, Hornswoggle notices El Matador's outside the ring, gets on the apron, dives at them. They all just move out the way and he just splats on the floor. Looks like he's out cold. Head down. As 3MB go out the ring to attend to Hornswoggle, El Torito gets up on the turnbuckle, dives to the outside, knocks them all over. As I say, it should be quite an entertaining thing, this WLC, but I'll tell you how it goes and what actually happens with it next week. And then we have Stephanie McMahon's public apology to Daniel Bryan. She comes out, calls out Daniel Bryan. Takes a little while for him to respond. Brie Bella comes out with Daniel Bryan. And he tells her that he just thinks she's full of crap. He almost believed her, but no, she's still full of shit. Stephanie's just like, I don't know what to do to make it up to you. Maybe if I give Brie a title match. And makes a match for Brie versus Paige. Right then, right now. Stephanie also tells them, Daniel Bryan is like, well, this is obviously some kind of trap. We're gonna walk down to that ring, you're gonna snap your fingers, Kane's gonna come out. Stephanie's like, no, the mask is under lock and key, he can't get to it, you'll be fine. Just accept this and just have this match as an apology. Oh, and the match is now. I find this weird. Why against Paige? Why didn't you have, like, the heel diva versus Brie? Which is Tamina Snuka. Say, if Brie beats Tamina Snuka, she gets put into the pay-per-view. And then you can... Because it's kind of... This made Paige look quite heely. Though, in fairness, she looked damn strong for the first time. She truly looked damn good. She was dominating Brie, doing lots of brutal moves, trying so hard to get over, and by the end of it, with her screaming and just her brutal moves, the crowd were cheering for Paige. I really would have liked to see this match just continue, because the two girls were doing well, and Paige was just dominating. She manages to hit a suplex off the top rope, but this leads to Kane's music hitting. Daniel Bryan's then looking around, trying to get in the way between the entrance ramp and the ring. At this point, Kane's hand emerges through the ring, and Paige gets out of dodge, and Brie Bella's left as Kane's hand grabs her by the leg, and she's shocked, getting dragged into hell. Daniel Bryan runs in the ring, attacks Kane, but gets thrown off, and because of his bad neck, is sort of taken out of it for a bit. Kane again grabs Brie Bella, but Daniel Bryan rolled out the ring. No. Yeah. So Daniel... Oh, blah, blah. I'm going to fart properly as well. Let's just get that out of the way. Yeah. So Kane shoves off Daniel Bryan. That gives Brie Bella a chance to crawl away. Kane gets out of his little hole. And as he's going after Brie Bella, Daniel Bryan comes in the ring with a wrench and just knocks him out. Daniel Bryan's looking after Brie in the corner. And I literally was shouting at my TV, just get out the goddamn ring. Do it. And as Kane sits up, Daniel Bryan notices, tells Brie to roll out the ring, turns around trying to clock him with the wrench, but Kane catches him, chokeslam on Daniel Bryan. Brie absolutely stupidly gets back in the ring to see if Daniel Bryan's okay, which obviously he isn't, but what good is it going to do you get him back in the ring? So of course then Kane is walking after Brie. Goes after Brie and starts dragging her back into hell. She manages to kick him in the face a good few times, gets out the ring, and a load of medical staff are helping Daniel Bryan up, and as they're heading up the ramp, Brie in tow, Kane just explodes the entrance ramp and just laughs manically in the ring. Sets up for the pay-per-view. It's a nice sort of easy storyline to do while Daniel Bryan's not in his best condition and probably not in the best mental state at the moment because of his tragic family issues. But yeah, it reinforces the character Kane. In 2 weeks they managed to make him a serious threat again from the absolute joke he was as the operational manager. I'm really glad to see Kane back in the mask. After the adverts, we are backstage. Brie shaking in fear. Daniel Bryan just in pain, getting checked over by the medical staff. Stephanie comes in, almost sounds like tears in her voice. And she's like, I'm so sorry, I didn't know this was going to happen. He managed to take the mask magically somehow. Of course he did, he's Kane. And then Daniel Bryan is just like, save it, you're just full of crap. You don't want me to make it to the pay-per-view, but no matter what, I'm still going to be there at the pay-per-view, and I'm still going to defy you, and I'm still going to beat the odds. And Stephanie's just sort of saying, oh, I'm so concerned for your safety. And then Brie is just like, you bitch, just get out of here. And the crowd erupts for this little outburst from Brie. Stephanie walks off, and the married couple is left shaken and upset. This is our second attempt by Renee Young to get words from John Cena. He comes out, as I say, at the beginning of the show, John Cena did such a good, serious promo. And now he's back to being his jokey self. He's sorry for getting mad at the WWE Universe and the C Nation. As much as they're cheering and chanting for Bray, they're also still, even if it is in jest towards John Cena, they're still making noise for him, and that's something he's going to fight for, and he's going to save the day. This is back to just a generic John Cena promo. I'd have much preferred not to see this, or just see him get a bit more intense and angry. Unfortunately, not the best sort of final thing to see from the Wyatts before the pay-per-view, but the beginning segment was just awesome. And then I've got some bad news for you. Wade Barrett is raising up on his podium in his ring gear. This is how this gimmick should have been from the beginning. And he tells RVD he's got some bad news for him. He's not going to win this match. And WWE's slogan is then, now, and forever. But when it comes to RVD, that should just be then. Because it's not since Wade Barrett was a child in diapers that RVD did anything of note in the business. And after this match, RVD is going to need to wear diapers and eat his lunch through a straw. Good little promo from Barrett. Shows that he's a good talker. And then we get a really good match. Not as good as Barrett's previous 2 matches, but still, it's the best match we've seen from RVD since in this return. And Barrett's looking strong. Good back and forth, and then all of a sudden, it's a good back and forth match. The crowd are actually really into this match. We're getting "Let's go Barrett, Rob Van Dam. Let's go Barrett, Rob Van Dam." Good little chants from the crowd. The emphasis is more on the "Let's go Barrett," which I'm happy about. But it's good RVD's getting a chant. It's good seeing... It's very rare that we get 2 stars just chanted back and forth that aren't in the top tiers. Then into this match we suddenly get Cesaro run out. Looks like he's about to cost RVD. RVD knocks him off the apron, but then manages to dodge the bullhammer elbow and hit Barrett himself. Jack Swagger... Got that wrong. And then all of a sudden, Cesaro comes out. Thought he was about to cost him the match, but RVD manages to dodge the distraction and hit Barrett. Cesaro is pulled off the apron by Jack Swagger. Then as RVD is about to hit the frog splash on Barrett, Cesaro manages to come back again, distract him, push him slightly off the top rope from the frog splash, and then Barrett manages to capitalise and just hit an absolutely brutal looking bullhammer elbow for the win. So we're going to get Big E Langston versus Wade Barrett for the Intercontinental title at Extreme Rules. Cannot wait for this match, and I 100% have to believe Wade Barrett is getting that title run again. Big E, sorry dude, you've just done nothing with the title. I know they haven't given you anything, but it's not been your most successful run ever. Actually, it's been your only run ever. So I hope you can recover from this setback and do better in the future. After this we get Cesaro beating down RVD after the match. And then Jack Swagger sort of comes for the save and beats up Cesaro, hits him with a gut wrench powerbomb. And then Swagger starts beating up RVD. RVD comes back, manages to get Swagger out of the ring, and since Cesaro is still down on the floor, hits a 5-star on him. So, out of nowhere, they've suddenly inserted Rob Van Dam into the Cesaro-Swagger feud, so now it's a triple threat feud. Really do not see where they're going with this. I thought the Swagger and Cesaro thing was going to be done, and then he was going to rival with RVD. But no, they just put all 3 of them together. I assume there's going to be some match of this on the pay-per-view, but they never talked about it. Either that or it's going to be a really odd, sort of, longer-term feud. And then we are on to our main event of the evening. Roman Reigns versus Randy Orton. And Evolution come out. And they cut a quite nice promo. Then we are on to our main event. The announcers say that Dean Ambrose has been put into a 3-on-1 handicap match for the US title. So it's Ryback and Alberto Del Rio versus Dean Ambrose. How does a handicap title match work? Because surely all 3 of those guys want to get the pin to get the title. Or do they win the title as a team? And like, because they're going to stop... So basically this is a fatal 4-way. It's a really weird match, doesn't make any sense. We'll have to... I'll tell you after SmackDown how this match goes and what the hell it is. Then Evolution come out. And they tell us that they're actually impressed with the Shield. Cutting down the numbers in their handicap match being dominant, still coming out on top, even though it was in the end 5 versus 3. They remind them of them. They remind them of sort of good potential. But the reason they cannot be the new Evolution is because Evolution still exists. These 3 men are still united together. That means Evolution will never be dethroned. Then we get the Shield come down. Got the 2 teams facing off in the ring. Woo! Ric Flair! I heard rumours that he was going to be on Raw. Since we got to that point, I didn't think we were going to see him, but Ric Flair comes out. And he shakes hands and hugs all the members of Evolution. And then starts telling them he's been a part of the greatest teams of all time. He's been a part of Evolution. He was a part of the 4 Horsemen. And he knows what a dominant team is. And he's standing in the present, the most dominant team at the moment. But the people he's talking about is the Shield. And he goes over to the Shield, shakes all of their hands individually, and then walks off. That's it. He just came out to insult Evolution, congratulate the Shield, and walk off. Someone didn't take the microphone away from him, because the match starts, and you just still randomly keep hearing Ric Flair, woo! Woo! Until eventually he gets cut off. Yeah, that was just really, really odd. Did not expect to see Flair then, and don't know how much it really added to the storyline. It was just a quick little appearance. I have to assume it was more Ric Flair's like, H, I'm a bit short on cash, and Triple H is like, have a segment on Raw. Main event. C'est la vie. And then we got a very short little match between Randy Orton and Roman Reigns. Nice bit of back and forth. Randy Orton, of course, is dominating at the beginning, throwing Roman Reigns into the steel steps. Roman Reigns actually adopts a little spot from The Rock. Roman Reigns gets whipped into the corner but bounces out with a clothesline. Not a leaping clothesline that The Rock does, but just a nice storming out clothesline to get a bit of control of himself. Hits his lovely drop kick when they're resting on the rope from the outside to the apron. Beautiful drop kick. Looks like Roman Reigns is about to set up for the Superman punch. But then Triple H grabs his leg, that distracts Roman Reigns. As this happens, the other 2 members of the Shield run round and attack Evolution, and it just turns into a straight-up brawl. Roman Reigns manages to hit the Superman punch on Randy Orton, but then goes out to help his teammates. Dean Ambrose is sent flying over the announce table and taken out, and then the Evolution regroup, and all 3 of them start just dominating the Shield. They get thrown into the barriers. Seth's like sent into the barrier upside down. Roman Reigns is set into the other set of steel steps. Thrown into the ring post. And eventually Dean and Roman Reigns are thrown in the ring. Evolution are standing strong. Dean Ambrose is still fighting up in the corner. Triple H is like, come at me. Clotheslines him. Triple H hooks in the pedigree. And then Seth does a springboard flying knee to Triple H. And then the Shield regroup. They rally. All of them come back. They start fighting off Evolution. Randy Orton and Batista are sent out the ring. Roman Reigns is in the corner. Triple H turns around and spear. So Triple H is down in the ring. The Shield have regrouped. They're all together. So it's powerbomb time. They set up for the powerbomb. But Evolution, the other 2 members, managed to get steel chairs come in the ring. The Shield split apart, drop kick the chairs back into their faces, steal the chairs. Evolution are sent scattered to the outside. Shield are in the ring. Evolution regroup on the ramp, and they're just looking a bit pissed off because they've been outsmarted and outdone by the Shield. Shield are looking strong in the ring. Oh my god, I want to see this match. It's just going to have a good atmosphere to it. The Shield always do so well in these 3-on-3s. I have to think that the Shield are going to come out strong on this. Even if it's miscommunication by the heels, the Shield, I think, have to win this match. And then we'll have Triple H trying to control the Shield by any means possible. I cannot wait for Extreme Rules for this match in particular. This is the one that's going to sell the pay-per-view for me. And that is a wrap. Thank you to my special guest, Moral, who helped me with this review today. And until my review of NXT on Friday, SmackDown Saturday, and then Extreme Rules Monday night, I will see you later. TT